How we doing? We're up on Mille Lacs in central Minnesota, and it is literally the dead of winter. We just got on the ice, and 2 days ago it was -50, the biggest cold snap in the last decade. So we're expecting a really tough bite, a lot of slowing down, probably a lot of dead sticking. But right now, this year, it's projected that Mille Lacs has over 700,000 adult walleyes. So you're looking at about 7 adult walleyes per acre on this body of water. So it's really good fishing. They say best number since 2011. So we're gonna come up here for a quick 2-day trip and see if we can catch some nice walleyes. And a lot of the fish are big ones, so that's gonna be really fun through the ice. So stay with us. We're gonna have a great show. Solo mission. Sarah stayed home, so everybody who's expecting to see Sarah gotta deal with me.
This segment of Sportsman's Journal is brought to you by Baitmate Fish Attractant.
So we got our first couple holes drilled, and I did not bring an extension, and you guys could see a lot of ice. They got lots of roads coming out here, 9-10 miles out, so definitely feel pretty confident about travel out here, and the snow's not too bad either. But what you're looking for when you come out here, especially midwinter like this, is a lot of mud flats on the north side of Mille Lacs. And that's where we're fishing right now. There's a couple little humps out here that are gravel, and they taper off real gently out to mud. And those walleyes like to relate to that mud midwinter. Get a lot, insect larvae starts coming up. And I'm working the fish right now. This ain't a bad fish right here. That transducer out of there. Now what I was doing with this fish, this is a better fish right here. What's cool about the mud is you can come out here and attract fish a little easier. I was taking that macho minnow and pounding it in the mud, stirring up the bottom a little bit, getting the fish a little more active. Gets them going a little bit. Let's see what we got here. This is better. He feels good. Now the thing you gotta remember too, when you're working a big fish, you got a lot of ice to try to get them up. So take your time, make sure your drag's working. That's the important thing. He's pulling. It's a nice fish. I'm excited. Our first one on Mille Lacs. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, guys, look at this. That is what we're after right there, huh? What do you guys think about that? Not a bad starter fish here on Mille Lacs. That's what they're known for right now. That year class is just plentiful out here. And that fish right there is gonna go 22, 23. It's a really nice fish. See if I can pop that. Get that macho man out of there. Yeah, what do you think, guys? Not too shabby. We'll put him back. Put the starter back. You always throw back the first fish. And the cool thing about Mille Lacs is you can keep a fish now. For a couple years there, the walleye population was fluctuating so much that it was all release. But you can keep one now. But we're not gonna keep any fish. They're just fun to catch. I tell you what, catching a 24-inch walleye through the ice is a blast. That did not take long. A lot of smaller marks, more kind of purple colored. That's telling me, you know what? We got bait fishing here, we got perch, we got small perch. That means there's gonna be walleyes in here because that's what they're feeding on. And if you got perch, there's probably some insect larvae down there, that's why they're here. So it's telling me I'm in the right spot. You just gotta get that window where they wanna eat. We're gonna move around pretty much this whole entire flat right here. We're right off of there's a little hump here, a little bit of gravel. And you wanna find those little nooks, inside turns, points, stuff like that, and come off of that into the mud flat here midday. And as that sun gets a little lower, those walleyes are gonna soak up on top of that, move up on top of that structure, on top of the gravel hump itself, towards low light times, and that's when we're gonna get the walleyes, get the feed bags on here in that low light time. But right now we're trying to get a couple walleyes in transit here, move around the outside of the gravel hump on the mud flat here. There he is right there. As soon as that got down there, that fish was on it. Not quite as big as our first one, but you know what? Active fish, that's what I like to see. Yeah, this might be a perch, which Mille Lacs is extremely famous for. There you go. Future fish, guys. That's a good sign too right there. That's what we're trying to get. That's what a lot of effort's been being done on Mille Lacs, is trying to get different year classes. Obviously, that guy needs to go a little bit of a ways to get big, but good start. Let's take a look here. I'll show you what I'm doing. It's a 1/8 ounce macho minnow. It's made by Northland. And all we're using is just, we're tipping it with a minnow head. So we got little tiny fat heads. Pinch off right behind the head there. You can discard the body part. And I like to put it right through the lips, kind of like you're hooking it on a jig, open water fishing. And come right out the top of the head there. And that sits on there perfect, and that's your meat. And that's what we're doing here for the walleyes. But like I said, I'm downsizing, so I'm going a little smaller than maybe I normally would. We're gonna go 1/8, and maybe we'll turn it up a notch to a quarter, but these fish are coming off of that cold front, like we've stated quite a bit. So we're gonna entice them with some finesse. One thing I want to touch on, and I can't stress it enough, is you gotta be mobile out here. This lake is so big, and especially on the mud, you gotta be able to move. You're almost, we call it ice trolling. You drill a bunch of holes, cover a big enough area, and then go back and forth from each hole. You hole hop basically, but you gotta be able to be mobile, and that's where the electric auger comes in big time. It's lightweight, easy to maneuver, easy to handle. You don't get exhausted carrying it around. So that's a big thing. You gotta be mobile. If you're not mobile, if you're stuck inside the fish house, yeah, they're comfortable, but those fish are moving constantly on this mud because there's no real structure to hold them. So they're working the edge of the gravel mud line, so you gotta be able to move. And that's huge, and that's what we're doing. That's all we're gonna be doing here. Hole hopping, find the active fish, fish a spot for a little bit, move on. You can always come back to it. Here we go, big fish, big fish, big fish just showed up. Really nice mark. Come on, buddy. He's right on me. He's coming. Yeah, that's a good fish. Let's get this out of there. I got a reel. Now, the old story, when you got so much, all that ice down there, you got to be able to get him through that hole, because you get slack, and that's how those fish get off a lot of times. And this is a nice fish right here. And that's why hook sets are important. Yeah, that's a nice fish. We'll see what we got here. Man, this is fun. See what we got here. Just gotta take it easy. You gotta get that head through that hole. Once that happens, you're pretty golden. But getting it through that hole is the tough part. And make sure you always got, he's at the bottom of the hole right now. I can feel him thumping on it. Come on, look at that hole move. This is a good fish right here, guys. There he is right there. How about that? How about that, guys? That right there is what we want. Look at that beautiful fish, huh? Awesome. Kramer custom rod. I'm using the The new wall banger is what Eric's calling it. And look what it does. Produces wall bangers. Are you kidding me? It's another beautiful Mille Lacs walleye. I love it. And look at, remember we're talking finesse, guys. Little 1/8 ounce, barely had him hooked, just good enough. Pop that out of there real quick. Little 1/8 forage minnow. Beautiful fish. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. Great. Love it. Love it. That's what we're after right there. Nothing better than catching big walleyes through the ice. Awesome. Look at that fish. Let's get him back in there real quick. Don't want to keep him out of the water too much. You don't want him to start to get a little frosty. Put him back in there. All right. All right, guys. Nice. We got a little pattern going here. Finesse forage minnow. Let's talk real quick about what we got going. That's a 1/8 ounce forage, or excuse me, macho minnow. I've been going back and forth between forage and macho, but that one came on the 1/8 ounce macho minnow. And I'm just putting that minnow head on there. I'm using the wall banger KCR, one of his new sticks coming out this year. And I got 6-pound test Suffix Ice mono on. And you want that little bit heavier stuff. Usually I go about 4 for this type of fishing with this finesse, but I got that lion's banging up against that ice quite a bit. So I want a little heavier stuff. Because those are, I mean, you're catching 4-pound fish, but you got to compete with about 30 inches of ice down there by that hole. So a little thicker diameter line will help you without getting nicks and abrasions and losing those fish. But that was a nice one. Let's get back down there. We're gonna start today off the same hole we fished yesterday and caught those nice walleyes. We got it out in the evening bite yesterday and found those ones, so we're gonna stick with the same type of plan here. We found fish, so one of the important things that I like to follow when I'm fishing is I never leave fish to go find fish. So we're gonna give this spot a go here this morning and see if we can get a couple more. If not, we're gonna start moving around. But the one thing you can notice is I'm not next to any of the big towns that are out here. Just try to stay away from the people. You got generators going, you got trucks moving, you got people yelling, you got dogs barking. If you're gonna catch a lot of fish on Mille Lacs, you gotta be mobile. We talked about that, but also try to stay away from the crowds. The fish are gonna, usually if there's lots of noise, lots of commotion going on the ice, they're gonna back off. They might sit on the edge of those humps instead of on top of them. So I'm getting away from people. I'm looking for little tiny marks on the map, little elevation changes out these mud flats, and that's where we're fishing. So we're gonna try the same spot we were at yesterday and see what we can get going here. One came up and pounded it. That's what we're looking for. Came right up off the bottom and waylaid it. The one thing you could tell, especially with the Humminbird Helix ice, is you can, with the different coloration, a lot of purple colors down there. Those are the small perch, and when a big fish comes in, it's a big yellow mark. So you can get ready. And that guy came in the area and took over. Feels like a good walleye here. Let's see. Remember, when you get close to that hole, take your time through there. I'm up to the hole now. He's pulling. Come on up here, buddy. There we go. Right there. Another good walleye. Yes. Pretty fish, huh? That's what we're after. Right in the top of the mouth with the old macho minnow. Good fish. That's what we're after. 19, 20 incher. Perfect. All right. Let's get him back in there. Nice. That fish was ready to eat. That's what we're looking for. Perfect. Love it. So this morning, that's the first one of the morning, and we moved 4 holes. And this first hole, I marked a lot of fish in. So I came back to it, and they're starting to get a little more aggressive, because when I was first here, a lot of fish coming up to look. I was dead sticking, they still wouldn't hit it. So what I did is something to consider, even when you're ice fishing, put on fresh bait, even if it's just a minnow head. I changed that minnow head, and literally 30 seconds after I had that down, that walleye came up and pounded. So ooh, there's a high riser. Oh, get ready. He's hard. He's hard. There he is. Get that transducer out of there. That fish came way off the bottom for that. This is not a huge walleye here again, but you know what? 17, 18, 19-inch walleyes in here. Ooh, he's pulling a little better. That's what I like. That's awesome. Huh, maybe I spoke too soon. This guy feels a little better now. He's putting up a battle. But on that one, I was popping it on the bottom like we talked about, rile up that mud. And I reeled it up real fast, and that fish come like a cannonball up at that macho minnow and pounded it. Getting close to the hole here. Moment of truth. When they start knocking on it, yep, he's there right now. Get that head through there. Come on, buddy. Here he comes. Oh yeah, another good walleye. Right in that. Oh, there. Huh? Patience. Finesse. He's got that macho minnow sitting right in the tip of his jaw. Right in top jaw. Perfect. Man, that is a blast catching them on KCR's new wall banger rod. It's perfect for 1/16 ounce baits to about 1/8. Perfect for those little small spoons. Forage minnows, machos minnows. It's really nice. Kind of a finesse walleye rod for ice fishing. Beautiful fish. Put them back in there. All right. Wow. That was awesome. Hope I got hooks on him. That fish was all over the screen, doing all sorts of stuff. I got ice on the tip of my rod. Conditions have gotten rotten. I got all my eyelets are freezing up. My hole's shrinking so it's sharp on the edges. Polar vortex is coming back on day 2 here. We're working for every fish that we get an opportunity at. There we go, guys. We'll take that one though. Tell you what, day 2's been a grind. Yesterday, half a day, we caught some nice mid-20s, and today we worked for every single fish we caught. It's not a bad little guy. Little 17, 18 incher. I had to do some coaxing on that one, but we got him. I think I know why Sarah didn't come with me. That's always been a problem. Me and her, she's always smarter than me. Polar vortex is back with vengeance on day 2. I couldn't handle it anymore out there. We had to go get the shanty and put it up. 30-mile-an-hour north winds. I tried to stay out as long as I could, but I needed some heat and my line was freezing up. So we moved inside, and I'm working a fish right now. Actually, he's coming up. There's been fish on the screen. It's been the fish are active. We're on fish. It's just we got to get him to go. Right there he is. Perfect, perfect, perfect. As soon as we move in here, nice. So you take them however you can get them. This is a decent walleye. See if I can see him down the hole. There he is. Come on. Oh, that's a really nice one, guys. Really nice fish. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're doing all sorts of stuff here, guys, to catch fish. But you know what? I'll take them however I can get them. And like I said earlier, before we had to duck in some cover, we worked hard. But you know what? That's what? 5 or 6 walleyes already today on day 2. It's a good fish. It's another 18, 19 incher. I know why Sarah didn't come with me, because it's brutal out here, but I think she might be missing out just a tad. Short, buddy. There you go. Oh, dude, he wants it. God. Look at him. No. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's smoking after it. Got him. Good fish. Good fish. I gotta get that out of there. Nothing's easy when you're in the shanty by yourself. That feels like another quality Mille Lacs walleye. We'll see how I can do here. Let's get close to that hole. One thing we didn't touch on a whole lot is the reel. You don't need a really high dollar reel. You need a reel with good drag. It's basically what you need. He's at the hole. You can see I'm really struggling to get him up in there. Come on, buddy. There he is, guys. Come on, Tyler. Yeah. That is what we're after. That fish was pretty cool on the old Humminbird Helix 7 ice. Watching him come up and down. I had to do a lot of coaxing for him. But the theme is the same. Pound the mud. Get him excited. Get him to come in. You got to attract him on these big flats. Got to get something that draws him in. And we drew this fish in, but once he was in there, it was a lot of aggressive jigs. Paid off. Nice fish. Got him on the old macho minnow. Nice. All right, that's absolutely 100% a good time. Sarah is missing out. Say what you want about being warm. You can do that in the summertime. Awesome. Put this fish back. Can't get enough of the Sportsman's Journal? Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Also check out our website, sportsmansjournaltv.com.